What up, y'all? My name is Sammy, and I am kind of a jack of all trades, I guess you could say. I am currently an artist, a figure skater, a singer, a photographer, a world traveler. I'm sure I could think of more, but really, I'm just someone who loves to learn how to do things. I I just like to experience new things in life in general. And today I felt like I needed to give almost a reintroduction, or maybe just an introduction into, I guess, who I am. And to be honest, it's kind of an ironic way to start this video because what I really want to talk about is the very bizarre and confusing journey that I've been on. Um, I mean, life has really thrown me all over the place and kind of made me question just about everything, honestly. And I'm really looking forward to the day that I can look into the mirror and feel like I know exactly who it is that I am. But at this point right now, I feel like I'm still coming into my own a little bit. I mean, for those of you who have watched the videos that I've posted from the conception of this channel, you will have already realized that I chopped all my hair off and, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see where this life goes. But, one of the most exciting things about life is the twists and turns and crazy routes that it takes you on, the unexpected, the bizarre, and sometimes even the like heart wrenching changes that happen. And as difficult as some of it can be to navigate, I feel like on the other side of it, you just become a whole new person, a whole person. I mean, I think that's one of the beautiful things about life is that we really don't know what it's trying to teach us until the lesson has been taught. So that's been kind of the journey I've been on. And I think moving forward with this channel and also with my career as an artist and also just kind of navigating the different aspects of myself, I I'm gonna try really hard not to get so tied down to a certain version or to or really just build a box that I have to stay inside because like I said, I think one of the most exciting and interesting things about life is just how much it can change and all the unexpected things that come up when you kind of just allow things to go the way that they go. Um, and, I'm typically not very confident doing a talking head sort of video like this, especially one that is unscripted and one that I'm not going to give myself the leeway of, we're just going to record this one line 17 times until it's somewhat passable, and then I'm going to sit and, critique it. That's silly. I'm not doing that. I just think in the current scope of life for myself and probably other people, I think we're all craving this like genuine, authentic connection. And it's not even about being lonely or really like searching for anything in particular. I think it's just our humanity really craving closeness and craving connection. And so I guess that's what sparked or inspired today's video. Like I said, going in completely unscripted, completely unedited. That's not true. It's it's unscripted, but it will be slightly edited to cut out any distracting bits that may unfold. I'm rambling though. I think the focus of this video, I wanted to address two things. Address sounds really serious, not really address. I wanted to, I guess, talk about two different things. One is the painting I'm currently working on, um, and the second is just hopefully maybe a bit of motivation or inspiration for you and a reminder to myself. Um, but we'll start with the less serious of the two, which is the current painting that I'm working on. Um, it's not quite finished yet, and I'm still kind of letting it unfold in a very organic way, which is new for me and a little scary. If you don't know or if you haven't seen the work that I've done before, I typically gravitate towards portraits and things. I recently have been working a lot on some travel portraits. This one is one that I'm pretty excited about. This one's not quite finished, but it is getting there, and I'm so excited. And one of the coolest bits about this one is that there's elements in the painting that are from my travels to Vietnam. This woman here is someone I actually met in Vietnam. She was um, part of this tour. Oh, this is still wet. I just touched it. She was part of this tour that I took, and she was teaching us about hat making and the process and the steps. And we had a translator who was kind of explaining things. But I just found her so, there was just something so beautiful about her and her like disposition and her resolve, and just like this woman was, if I remember correctly, she's in her 70s now, and she's been making hats since she was like 6. um, and there was just this very like calm and like just practiced demeanor about her. It was so beautiful. Like she was just so, I'm struggling to find the word, but she just was very confident in her movements and and it was very calm. Um, just like not worried about how long anything was taking, not worried about whether it was perfect, but it was, and it was just her years of experience really showing through. And the other thing too is I felt like she just had this very lovely personality. And I don't know the full extent of her story. And had it not been a tour and I had more time to really interact with her personally one on one, I really would have loved to ask her if it was a path that she chose for herself or if it was one that was chosen for her. Because in the village that she lives in, it seems like a lot of the skills that they're taught and the professions that they have are more or less decided for them based on where they live and the skills that they were given. And so for her, it was hat making. And I just, I found it so beautiful that she was just so committed in her effort and so calm and pleasant to be around. Like she just had this very warm personality. And I don't, yeah, it was like the feeling of like, you know, that feeling when you come home to your mom or your grandmother and there's just this warm, welcoming, calm vibe. That's kind of the vibe she gave. And she was like teaching us how to iron out the leaves so that we could use them to weave into the hat. And you know, she would just very gently correct you. And it was very sweet. But I just, something about it really spoke to my heart. And I feel like not only her but so many of the people that I saw and met in Vietnam, I feel like it was just such a great reminder to, one, like slow down and just trust that things will unfold the way they're supposed to unfold, and that your practice and your skill kind of speak for itself in a lot of ways, and that you don't have to rush. Things will get done when they get done. And I don't know, there was just, yeah, I had this very profound feeling while being in Vietnam, and it's very much inspired this painting. I feel like even the colors that I chose weren't really planned. They kind of just like, it was just kind of like how I felt there. This like, yeah. I don't think I'm explaining this all that well, but the other cool thing about this painting is that there's pieces in the, like actually tacked into the painting. This might be kind of difficult to see, but there's like stamps and like just like old postage stamps that I found at a vintage store. There's fabric in the back there. I have some like stickers in here. Um, it's just a really fun piece, and I'm so excited about it because it was kind of me stepping out of my normal and creating something so different. And it was something that I conceptualized in Vietnam, and I had this idea, and it kind of it propelled the trajectory of like how I picked my souvenirs and picked the things that I bought there, which ended up being like the old postage stamps. But yeah, so that's another one. Really exciting. So excited about it. I have um, a few more that I'm excited to eventually share with you guys, but those will come in later videos. Anyway, like I was saying, let's bring it back. Um, Typically, I work on portraits. That is a very different portrait than what I normally do. I would normally do something a little bit more. Actually, I can show you. Typically, do more traditional portraits, things like these. I have some paintings. I have some paintings that have actually a gold paint incorporated into them. And again, you can either look back at other videos that I have posted, or I will eventually be displaying those as well. And so you can kind of see the contrast and the difference of those. But all that to be said, this is such a big sidestep from my standard portraits and normal paintings that I gravitate towards. And there's two keys, I guess, that are different. One, no reference was used, and I keep going back and forth on whether or not I'm going to go and take a reference photo, or if I just want to continue to let it kind of manifest out of my own mind. But obviously, maybe hopefully it's obvious. It is inspired by this guy. I I love this guy. I'm obsessed with this guy. Um, And I used to think I used to think it was a weird thing to say that I love this guy, because it's something that's a little bit less tangible than, like a person, for instance. Um, but I fly for work. I fly for travel, obviously. And I love being in the sky. Like, the job itself, to be completely honest with you, is good and it's fine. But my favorite part about it is when I look out the window and realize that I'm surrounded by the sky. I don't know why I'm feeling a little bit emotional about it, actually, but just there's something about the sky that completely overwhelms me and excites me at the same time. I know science has ways of explaining it, but I love that you can look up in the sky and the clouds, they're just floating there. They're just like, it doesn't make sense to me how they're there. And I love that, whatever you're feeling, whether it's happy or sad or overwhelming or whatever, you can just kind of look in the sky and it's like it absorbs all of it. And it's weird that it's this like tangible thing, but it's like not a thing, and you can be in it or you can be under it. I'm so obsessed with the sky. I love that it connects us all, no matter where we are or what we're doing. It's always there, and it just kind of surrounds us like one big giant hug. Um, and I've always actually wanted to paint the sky, but I felt like I couldn't do it justice. So I just kept like putting it off, shying away. And the other day I had started this painting, and I think it was just kind of like, it was almost like a need for my soul. Like, I just felt kind of lost. Um, I think I've been trying to navigate my own identity and navigate my path in life, and kind of just getting way too existential about it and thinking way too hard about it. I am a chronic overthinker, I first to admit it, but yeah, I think I started because I needed it, and I found comfort in painting it. And even though it's not done yet, I love it. I love looking at it because it reminds me of the thing I love, the sky. um, wow, I'm getting kind of sappy about this. Anyway, I feel like I need to kind of start wrapping this up and tie it into a pretty little bow, especially because I have to go train soon. So, um, I think the other thing I really wanted to chat about today is this idea of creating yourself and coming into yourself and just I guess just being yourself, because people talk about all the time being yourself, and it sounds so simple, but what does it even mean to be yourself? And it's doubly more confusing if you're someone who can't find a reason to like the self you are, or you can find way more reasons why it's not good enough. And I think that's something I've been struggling to navigate. And recently I've been kind of trying to change my lens and change the stories that I tell myself and the narrative that runs on the inside of my head. Um, because I've noticed that in moments of weakness or in moments of embarrassment, I tend to almost regurgitate old stories, um, or like I'll repeat things that have run in my head on a backtrack and I haven't even been paying attention or noticing until it all comes out. And for instance, recently, um, I partook into a few too many adult beverages, and I ended up saying a lot of things. I was saying that I didn't know I was here, or I didn't think I should be here, and that I hated myself. And I hate even saying that out loud, because the thing is, those are old stories. I don't even believe that anymore. Like, I do feel confused and lost, and like I'm still sorting it out, but I don't feel like I don't deserve to be here. And I don't feel like I dislike myself. Um, but those are stories that have been running on a backtrack in my head, and I haven't fully gotten rid of them. Because the thing is, I think, like most habits, if you don't replace them with something else, they tend to come back. So I'm sharing this because I'm hoping maybe it'll help somebody else who's also trying to navigate this very confusing path of becoming yourself. And if you're someone who has these stories, whether you believe them or not, first of all, no matter what is in your head, no matter what thoughts cross your mind, you don't have to believe every thought that is in your headspace. In fact, I think we should be questioning most of them, because where did they even come from? Where, at what point did you start thinking that you weren't enough? At what point did you start thinking that you should have been something better, or that you should be something better? Anything along those lines, I think we should be questioning, because a lot of times we're taking in information from outside of ourselves, um, and we're interpreting it. And sometimes it's directly given to us and verbally given to us. And sometimes it's just the way that we perceive it when we're younger, or even just as we're evolving as people. We take in information and we reflect it back into ourselves. And it becomes a self-perpetuating cycle of trying to be a better person, but you're kicking yourself down all the time. And you can't really progress and evolve as a person if you're holding yourself back and chaining yourself to these old narratives. Um, and I think for so many of us, it can feel suffocating, and you can feel trapped in it, and you can feel stuck in it. And lately I've been experimenting with and like trying to find new ways to rewrite those stories, because like I said, when things randomly come back up, it means that it was never fully dealt with or it wasn't rewritten. So I noticed in myself these stories were coming up, and I was saying things that didn't really fit. Um, and I started realizing that I have these narratives in my head that are long held, long rehearsed truths that are not even true. And so I've been trying to I've been trying two things. One, I've been experimenting with whenever I am really struggling to change the narrative in my head, because it's just either it feels really loud that day, or it's just very perpetual and very I can't seem to break through and give myself a better narrative. I have a couple of videos on speed dial that I just kind of listen to, and I listen to them loud enough that it feels louder than what's in my head. So that way I can have new truth sinking in, telling me that I am enough and telling me that I can change, and that, you know, that you can start from right here, right where your feet are planted, and you can start moving forward. And I heard a quote recently, and it's maybe one of my new favorite quotes. I have a lot of favorite quotes, but it's one of my new favorites is, "You are under no obligation to be the same person that you were 5 minutes ago." And I love that. I love that so much. I believe that's Alan Watts who said that. And yeah, I love that. You are under no obligation to be the same person that you were 5 minutes ago. And it always applies. No matter what happens, no matter, anything, you can always move forward. You can always start where you are and be better. And, I think the biggest thing, the biggest asset we can give ourselves is to transform into a growth mindset and transform into a builder mindset instead of a victim mindset, because it's so easy to get comfortable and complacent in this either one, going into distraction mode and letting yourself numb all the pain and ignore all the pain and ignore all the frustration and ignore the things you can't change, or sinking into self wallow and to loathe yourself and feel anxious and overthink everything and just get into this cycle and this consistent pattern of hating yourself. It's it almost starts to feel normal and comfortable, and that's a little scary in my opinion, how easy it is to just do that, to just be in that cycle. And I say that from experience. But we also have another choice. We can also choose to not subscribe to that version of ourselves. We can choose to not be okay accepting false narratives and negative narratives. We can choose to shed away the things that don't make us feel happy and alive and vibrant and weird and silly and like we deserve to be here. I heard something else recently, and it was that something along the lines of, you don't have to find yourself. Becoming yourself is about shedding away and getting rid of the things that are not you to uncover what's always been there. And I liked that as I like that. It means that you've always been you. You've always been inside of you. Your strongest, most capable, most amazing version, most vibrant version of yourself is always and is already in you. You are already that person. And it's your job to uncover it. Almost like you have just been, you were born you. And over the course of life, you've put on an outer shell and this layer and this protection and this barrier. And you've built up all of these defenses to protect who you are because it's so important to you. And so at a certain point, through all of those layers, you've developed this narrative that you're vulnerable, that you have to be protected, that you have to that you have to hide because you don't want to ruin the very precious core that you have. But another one of my favorite quotes by Lisa Nichols is, "You have nothing to prove, you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to defend, and you have nothing to protect." And at least to me, that says you can shed away all of those barriers and those layers, and you can just be, and you can exist, and you don't have to explain it, and you don't have to defend it, because it is. You are you, and you don't have to fit into any certain box or mold or narrative or identity or anything. You don't have to define it for anyone. You can just be. You can just let yourself breathe and know that you are enough. Because if you can get to the point, and I'm saying that, I say you, but I mean me, if we can get to the point where we can wake up and stand up inside of ourselves and ah, just exist, just be, what an amazing thing that would be. That's my goal. And I hope for all of us that we can, you know, feel empowered and inspired to strive for the highest, most amazing, most determined, most consistent, most excited version of ourselves, and live life in a way that makes us feel full and alive. And I know I kind of talk in circles, and I know I kind of go around everywhere, every which way. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts, but I hope that maybe somewhere in this, any of it has resonated with you. And I hope that you feel empowered to explore who you are and to shed some of your old narratives and shed some of your defenses and feel like you can just exist and live without having to explain or defend yourself. And I know it's so much easier said than done. So much easier said than done. But at the very least, even within the walls of your own space, within the barriers of your own soul, I hope that you can allow yourself to breathe into the person that you are and to just feel alive. You deserve to be here. I deserve to be here. We deserve to be happy and full. And the last thing I will say, and the thing that I'm personally really excited about moving forward, is that we already have in us the ability to become the highest, best, most vibrant version of ourselves. It's already in us. We already have it. All we have to do is put forth the dedication and the determination and the focus onto that best, highest version. And even if it feels cringy or awkward or maybe even unacceptable, I hope that you will put your focus on whatever speaks to your heart, and that you move forward trusting that the universe gave you a mission. It gave you a specific personality and a specific mindset and a specific set of challenges to overcome to get to a specific version of yourself. And not because you have to, like, trek this very rigid path, but because you have a purpose. And I think if we just can put our focus towards that little blip that happens, that, like, when you feel like that little magic, and you're like, you think to yourself, Even if it's like really quiet, really tiny, it would be cool if, it would be amazing if, oh, but what if I, whatever finishes those sentences, I feel like if we put our focus to that rather than any of the other stuff, any of the doubts, any of the negativity, any of the reasons why we can't, we shouldn't, we don't. If we put it towards that little magic blip, that dream that feels childish or cringy or unacceptable, I think the more we focus on that and the more we take baby steps towards that, the more the universe will unfold in front of us and present to us the path that was already laid out for us, the path that was meant for us to find. That's how I feel anyway. I am a chronic overthinker. I tend to get anxious and I overanalyze things. I'm a hopeless romantic. And I'm hopeful and optimistic in general about things that maybe seem a little insane, but in all of the very eccentric and flamboyant and crazy thoughts that I've been jumping around, I hope at least one of them resonated with you. I hope that you felt connected to something here. And at the very least, I hope that you feel inspired and motivated and empowered to be a little more of yourself today and to rewrite one thought that's negative in your mind with something beautiful and positive, because we deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. I deserve to be here. You deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. And I acknowledge that in both of us. And I'm excited for what the future holds. And I'm excited to explore the different corners of my mind. I'm excited to hear what corners that you explore in your mind. And I'm excited to see how things unfold, because I'm at this point expecting to be surprised. I'm expecting for life to keep me on my toes and for the most unexpected things to happen. And I know it's going to be magical and it's going to be crazy and it's going to be wild and it's going to be worth it. And I hope that you stick around and you're here with me for it. So until next time, stay humble, stay kind, and chase your highly improbable dreams. Because, hey, you're far more capable than you think. Bye.